Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make 22 cards out of half a pack of the Flight Airy Designer Series paper. I had seen a marvellous video done by Alyson. She is a Canadian demonstrator, but she had started with cutting the pack from scratch, and she cut each piece and then she assembled all the cards, and the video was 2 hours long. So what I thought I would do was replicate it, but try and condense it a little bit by pre-scoring and pre-cutting all the pieces. And then what I've done is I have made the printout of the dimensions that you need to cut each sheet, because they're all cut differently. And then you can either take a screenshot or you can email me, and I'd be happy to send you the PDF of all the dimensions that she used. So you can get 44 cards out of the full pack and 22 out of the half pack. The full pack is 12 sheets, so there's 2 of each of the 6 designs, and today we'll be using 1 of each of the 6 patterns. So we'll get 6 of each of these ones, and there will be 4 of this one, which makes the 22. So without further ado, let me get started. I'm just going to pop the cards back onto the little place where they need to go. There is one little bit of fussy cutting, but I'll show you how we do that too. But first of all, let's start with a Designer Series paper. So you need this one. Well, first of all, here is the dimensions of how it was cut. Cut 1.5 inches off the bottom, cut what was left down into 3 panels of 4 inches, and then cut them in half at 5 1/4. So it's the one that looks like this with the lovely little flowers on the back. And then actually the same dimensions were used for the blue one. It's got the bigger birds on the back, but we'll be using the blue side today. So again, 1.5 inches off the bottom, cut into 3 panels of 4 inches, and cut in half at 5 1/4. So that was the first 2 sheets. The third sheet is a little bit different. So first of all, well, it's the green one, and it's got little twins of birds on the back. So you need to cut 3/4 of an inch off the right hand side, and then what is left cut in half at 5 1/4. So you get 2 panel, well, you get 1 panel of 5 1/4, which leaves you 6, and then the 6-inch piece you cut into 2 strips of 3. The 5 1/4 you cut into equal strips across 2 inches, and the 2 3-inch panels you cut into 4 inches each. So that's how we cut the green. The next one are the little birds that are sort of in trios. And what you need to do is, the first step is to cut it in half. Cut it down at 6 inches on your paper cutter. This is number 1. And then the left hand side, you cut into 2 equal panels of 3 inches, 2 sets of 3, and then again you cut them into 4 across. So you're getting 6 layers. The right hand side, you cut 3/4 of an inch off the right hand side, which leaves you 5 1/4. And then what we'll do is it will be flipped over, and we'll do 3-inch pieces. So you'll get 4 3-inch pieces of the fresh freesia. So that's actually using both sides of that piece of Designer Series paper. The 5th one is the brown piece, which has this pattern on the back, but we will be using the brown. And then you need to cut 1.5 inches off the right hand side first, and then cut the 10.5-inch piece that's left in half at 5 1/4. And then the left hand piece you cut into 6 2-inch strips, and this piece that would be in the middle you cut into 12 1-inch strips. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a screenshot, but like I say, if you would like the measurements, please feel free to email me and I'll send you the whole PDF. So that is 5 of the pieces. What you're left with has got this lovely pattern. It's almost a shame to cut that up. It seems to be everyone's favourite at the moment. You've got a sheet of birds, and what we need to do is fussy cut the birds out. It seems like a lot, but let me tell you, it is so worth it. So fussy cutting is actually quite easy, and I saved one lone little birdie. And the good thing about these birds is that they're not very, they don't have a very defined edge. They're kind of like watercolored. So we're just going to cut the little guy around, and the trick with fussy cutting is to try and hold your scissors still and actually move the paper. So I'm just going to go around. Some people like to leave a white border. I like to trim it quite close, but however you want to do it, we'll just go down and round, and there he is, fussy cutted, fussy cut. What's the past tense of cutted? Fussy cut out. So that's the little bird as it stands, and he's actually the first one that we're going to do. So what I've also done, once you've got all your birds cut out, I put them into pairs, and I took photographs of all of this. So if you email me for the directions for the designer series paper, I will send you the photographs so you can see which, they're all sort of the same but different, but I put all the little guys together. So this is the card that we'll end up making. And these were the birds that I nominated to each little section. So we'll bring in the pieces that we need. You'll also need, in addition to the designer series paper, you'll need bases, card bases, and you need 5 sheets of basic white, and then they're cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So 5 sheets of basic white will get you 10 card bases. And then you need 6 sheets of lemon lolly, which again cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4 will get you 12. So your 10 white, your 12 yellow makes the 22. You'll also need a piece of lemon lolly because it's one of the layers, and it's cut down into 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, which lays under one of the pieces of paper. And then I also used it to die cut out some of these lovely little shapes which came out of this set. It's the wild ferns. It's a new set. So I lined them up on some lemon lolly and cut them out. And then I'm going to sort of trim them down a little bit. And then some of the phrases, this was the square that I used because it's got the nice stitched edge. So that was where the lemon lolly came from. So let's get making a card here. So we'll fold it in half, give it a nice crease with the bone folder. And then what we need to do is put the fresh freesia at the top and the brown piece at the bottom. So bring in the rolling adhesive. It's honestly one of my favorite celebration items to earn right now. And in case you're not aware of what celebration is, between now and the 29th of February, for every $50 that you spend, you can earn a free item out of the celebration catalogue, and the Flight Airy Designer Series paper just happens to be one of those items. So that's the base made. What we need to do now is get the die cut little piece, which I'd already done. And I'm going to use, the ink I'm going to use is copper clay because I feel it picks up the colour of the designer series paper, and even the ones that uses just the birds, it brings out the branches. It's the colour that coordinates with everything. And what I'm going to do is use one of my most favourite stamps of the moment, which is the Hello Friend, which came out of the December paper pumpkin. Again, if you're not a paper pumpkin person, oh, you need to be. It's fabulous. It's such fun. Every month a lovely kit of things comes to your door, and if you would like to be a paper pumpkin person, one of my pumpkineers, please just look in the description box below and I will put the link to how you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin through me, and I would love to have you as one of my pumpkin ears, as I like to call them. So the piece that I cut, I've actually chopped in half a little bit. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so I don't get sticky on my work surface. And I'm just going to pop the pieces down behind the greeting. It actually looks like it's a different greeting, but you know what? There you go. Oh, you know what? No, they're the wrong way around. Oops. So pull those off before it gets a chance to set. So that one goes to the left and this one goes to the right. There we have it. And then what we'll do is we will pop the birds that match this set. And I will bring back in the one that I just fussy cut and one of the other ones that was already pre-done. Just going to put a little bit of adhesive on his tummy and stick him to the front. And this little guy doesn't actually have feet, but we can put some adhesive on his tummy too and attach him wherever you feel he would go the nicest. So I'll move that out of the way and then I'll bring in some dimensionals. Which are great for giving it a lovely raised look. And then those of you who subscribe often know my lovely throw them across the room and hunt them down later. So that's it. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pop this somewhere on the front. There's no right or wrong place. This little guy's tail sticks out a bit further than this one, so I've just moved it over a little. But there you have it. So that is card number 1. This is the sample that we made. And there will be 4 of those. The Fresh Freesia card is the one that only makes 4, but it's still rather lovely. So pop that off to one side for now. And then we'll bring in the next card, which again uses the basic white. So these are the birds that we use, and this is the card. So I've got the kit all ready to sort of go. So we'll bring the ink back in and the stamp set. This one's quite a quick one actually, because it doesn't have the background of the die cuts on it. Oops. So there's One of a Kind Friend. And then we'll make the card into a base, which will fit into the standard envelope, of course. I think if I had a problem with this designer series paper, it's whenever I choose one side and commit to it, when I turn it over to put the adhesive on, it's like, oh, I so would have liked to have used that side, but only one. So that's the blue. And then we'll go ahead and put the birdie layer on. And then we will put some dimensionals on the back of this little piece. And then we'll grab a bird and we'll put some dimensions on the back of him. Should pop those off to one side. Whoops. So we just pop that in the middle. And take the 2 pieces off and he will be dimensioned the same. So ta-da, there's the second card that is the same as the first one. Actually, this one is exactly the same because the bird just happened to be the same. You'll find when you're fussy cutting them out, they're not all the same, but I just tried to keep whatever their dominant colour was, kept them all together. And like I say, if you would like the photograph of that, I would be more than willing to share it with you. So the next one is this card. So everybody's got a red and a green. Well, he is green. The red one with the green and yellow. The only trouble is when I'd got them all sorted out eventually, that there wasn't enough of the yellow on the left. But you know, if you're sending them to somebody, they haven't seen the original, have they? So as long as you've got something that's the same but slightly different, that's what matters the most. So we'll actually, no, we'll use this one. So we'll pop that off to one side because that's the set that we've already used, and we will bring in the pieces. So here we have more of the die cut, and this time the base is going to be the lovely lemon lolly. I wasn't very keen on lemon lolly when it first came out. It looked a little bit washed out, but now I see it used, and especially with these birds, it just picks up that colour and adds a lovely almost spring element. So that's rather lovely. So we'll bring in the little die cut piece. I'd already done that. But anyway, so we'll bring back in our hello friend greeting. This really is one of my favourite ones. I've been sending cards to people left, right and centre just because because I can. But ooh, who doesn't want to say hello to their friends and get to stamp and use all this lovely stuff at the same time? So this, I'm just going to cut the little pieces that stick out a little further. Bring back in the silicone mat so I can pop some adhesive on there without it getting on my work surface. And if we follow the example, this one is quite over, cut that point off actually. This one is quite over to the right, and this one is fairly over to the left. So that's the little base for our bird friend, and then we'll go ahead and attach the designer series paper to the base. And again, it's that like, oh, I quite like that one, but never mind. Right, brown piece at the top. So we'll put that one on, and then we'll put the green one up to it nicely, and then we will stick this down. This is just going to get stuck down flat, and I'm going to put it so it runs along the edge, and then the birds will have a little bit of dimension on the back of them. So we'll put 1, 2, 1 and 2. There's going to be a lot of backs. So what I'm trying to do, just on my stamp, obviously it depends on the greeting that you put, I'm trying to get the feet in the gap so the tail doesn't obscure anything of what's said. But that's the nice part of this, is you can actually pop them wherever it is you want them. Actually, I think I might stand him up there because he's got feet. So there's the next ones, same but different. So we'll pop those off to one side, and then we'll bring in the fourth and final card, which is just, it's very yellow, it's very lolly. So these are the birds. Again, there is a picture of them if you would like it. So I'll bring in our little guy that we'll be using for this card, and I will bring in the set that I had set aside to make it from. We will get the thank you. This thank you, believe it or not, is a paper pumpkin stamp from 2017. But I have them all in a little album, and then I can flick through and see which ones I like. If I'm looking for a particular, if I don't want a long skinny one or a, you know, short fat one, then it's already done. And it's a lot quicker to just flick through the pages than it is to look through all of the boxes, of course. So let's make the card base. And we can go ahead and stick the layer on, which is the 5 1/4 by 4. And then this is one of the layers, and then you'll remember it needs to be 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 cut out of the lemon lolly. And we'll just layer that on, so it's quite a tight fit, but it's just enough to highlight it and shine it through. And then we'll attach this to the front of the card. And then what we'll do is we will go ahead and attach this to the back. And actually, I think I just attached it. No, I split it. Just needs to be a little bit wider. And what I'm going to do with this one actually is just snip that round so it releases that and leaves it more freestanding. Oops, sorry little bird guy. So let me see, you can go there. Oh no, you can't. Oh, I keep doing this, don't I? I'm so excited to get them done so I can show you. That one can go there, and that one can go up to the edge. And then the little bird is just dimensioned independently. So we'll bring in dimensions and pop a couple on the greeting. Oops. And that can go there. And then a couple of dimensions on the back of the bird. There was one the same, but you will see I've used a different one this time, just so we can highlight the difference. So I'll put it a little bit further over so his tail doesn't obscure the greeting. But that's it, that's 2 of the same. So let me bring them, let me bring them all back in so you can see how they look. So there are 4 of the fresh freesia ones. There are 6 of the lemon lolly layered ones. There are 6 of the 2 birds with the hello. And there are 6 of this one. So that's everything. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you've liked what you've seen, please consider subscribing or give me a thumbs up. If you've got a question or a comment, pop it in the comment section below. I'll always try to answer anyone's questions. I'll put the dimensions and any sort of pertinent information in the description box as usual. I'm actually starting to do Zoom get-togethers and kit classes, but my blog is still under construction. So if you'd like to know more about them until it's up and running, you can check out my alysonstamps.stampinup.net website where there are details on that. Or you can email me with absolutely no obligation information. I don't want people to think, oh, if I email her, she's going to hound me to join. Absolutely not. I just want you to have the information so you can make an informed decision. Absolutely no obligation, because I hate that. I hate salesy, pushy. If you ask me the question, I'll give you the answer. And until my blog is up and running, where of course you could look anonymously, I would be more than happy to share that information to you. And of course, if you would like the PDF, the dimensions and the photographs of which birds go with which card, again, email me and I will be happy to share them. Sharing is the basis of everything we do that is crafty. So that is why I do this, so you guys can copy and share and enjoy and have as much fun as me. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.